No, he did not successfully He did not successfully convince me, but damn, did he give it his darndest try. Hi, I'm Jenna Ortega, and this is how I got here with Esquire. Let's get into it. Which role completely changed how people treated you overnight? I feel like this one's quite obvious. Definitely Wednesday, and it really was overnight. I think it was on Thanksgiving, and I was on a walk with my nephew, and some lady did some illegal behind the wheel work to get around so that I would take a photo with her daughter, and they were like screaming from their car, and I was wearing sweats and no makeup, and the show had come out maybe a day or two before. Or then we did Brazil Comic-Con, but that was like still to this day is one of the most insane experiences I've ever had in my life, and it was 2 weeks after the show had come out, and it felt like there was an earthquake happening in the building and people were passing out. It just was not normal. But they're very sweet. As a child actor, what's one stereotype you'd like to set the record straight on? Is it wrong to say that a lot of them are true? And do with that what you will. Okay. Who are your earliest creative influences? When I was little, I've said it a million times and it's because it's true, Dakota Fanning. As a young girl, to see a young girl with so much, it felt like wisdom, like she had lived and walked this planet many times before, and she kind of taught me what an actor even was when I was a kid, so probably Dakota. What's the most Hollywood thing about you? It's such a weird thing to talk about because no matter which way you speak about it, it's gonna feel bizarre. I'm pretty lucky, I'm pretty disengaged from it, I would say. When I shoot, oftentimes I don't even really live here. Yeah, I don't live in Hollywood. What's the riskiest thing you've ever done for an audition? I mean, lie, you lie. You lie all the time. When I was a kid, the amount of things that I could do, I was a prodigy in maybe several different fields. I was a musician, I definitely did karate, I definitely had the experience of like a 50-year-old woman who had traveled the world and seen it all. What's a rookie mistake you made on your first set? I really had it going for me as a child because I can't think of one mistake I made. Is that a terrible thing to say? I feel like I make mistakes now all the time. But as a child, I was so grateful and so excited to be there that my game face was on. I wasn't asking for a sip of water. I would go all day without eating, drinking, whatever, because I wanted so badly to not be in the way of anybody that like, maybe that was my mistake, was like not actually looking after myself. What's one note from Tim Burton that changed the way you build a character now? The thing is, Tim doesn't really give notes. When I first started working with him, that was a really hard thing for me to fathom. It stressed me out for the first 2 weeks because I couldn't tell if I was even in the ballpark of what he wanted, and I don't know if he was happy. I felt like I couldn't trust myself, but I think that was actually the most valuable lesson that I learned from Tim, was because he kind of encouraged me to trust my own instinct and what I wanted to bring to the table, and I was allowed to experiment. And I think my first note was maybe taking something too far or not far enough, but it made me realize, oh, well, he hired me because he trusts me. I can't really remember being given that same level of trust in my career prior. What shocked you the most about joining the Beetlejuice universe? Honestly, the amount of dead bodies and crazy deaths that don't get seen is devastating. The hair, makeup, costume, all of that, the teams knocked it out the park. It was so impressive.
Do you remember where you were when you got the call that you had booked it?
I went to Tim's house. Wednesday season 1 had just come out, so I went there with kind of like a journal of things for Wednesday, and then he just put the Beetlejuice script in my lap. He said I didn't have to read it now. He offered it to me then, and that was pretty surprising. What was your favorite scene to shoot with Sabrina Carpenter in the Taste music video? The chainsaw sequence, I would say, that just felt really camp and fun, and we had nice little outfits on, and it was poolside, and the sun was out, and I think the chainsaw had some crazy name and reference to Sabrina as well. It was called like the Espresso 3000 or something. I swear to you, nothing about that music video was choreographed. Like, we were just running around. We had no time to prep or really talk about it, Sabrina and I found out I was doing it just days before. So the kissing sequence was, I would stand there, I would kiss a man, they would tell me to hold it, I stayed in that position, Sabrina would come in, she would kiss me, and then we just did that a few times, so it was like a carousel of lovers. What's a misconception people have about Scream Queens? I mean, isn't the idea is that they're really fucking cool? I wouldn't call myself a Scream Queen, to clarify, but much respect to the ladies out there. What's the biggest creative gamble you've taken that actually paid off? Again, Wednesday. I thought my career was gonna be over after that. I panicked. I had no idea. I was so confused. And then they started talking about this show and this big release that they were doing. And when we were shooting in Romania, it felt like this small little thing, which maybe was naive because Tim Burton was involved. But like the cast and I used to laugh about it. Like, wow, this is an insane shoot for it to really not be acknowledged. And then I can't stand to watch myself. I saw part of the first episode, had a mental breakdown, called my friend Matt. I was like, it's up. Like, okay, here we go. Which co-star turned into a genuine friend off camera? I've been really lucky. I've had a few of these, but probably the first most solid was Maddie Ziegler from The Fallout. She is a real one. What's one thing you learned about Paul Rudd after working together on Death and Unicorn? I didn't know that he was like a Kansas City spokesperson. Like whenever he has the opportunity, he tries to get people to come out to the city and talks about it all the time. And it's, guys, he really loves this place. It's not a joke to him. He's a Kansas City boy.
Did he convince you to go visit?
No, he did not successfully convince me, but damn, did he give it his darndest try. How would you describe Glenn Powell as a scene partner? That's a movie star. I felt like working with him was like, it was the most movie experience I think I've had on a set. Easy to shoot with, very technical, a lot of energy, and just so nice, so unbelievably nice to everyone. What was the most difficult part about taking on a role like Clara in Clara and the Sun? Just not really having any idea of what it was gonna look like. I think when you speak of these sci-fi realms and worlds and you're working with an auteur like Taika Waititi, it just, you can assume and you can guess, but also the book is really wonderful in the way that it's speaking on these big things, but it's very nuanced. So it wasn't until you really got into the set and were immersed in the world that you had an understanding. It was definitely the most, ooh, okay, what am I stepping into here? How did you get here? I genuinely do not know. You guys, I was 7 years old when I said I wanted to do this. My parents laughed at me when I told them that I wanted to do it, and then that kind of was the root of everything, the motivation. And I never really stopped because I'm very stubborn, and then I never questioned it. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out Esquire's Mavericks of Hollywood issue.